Once upon a time in a magical forest, there lived a group of animals who all had different personalities and skills. There was a wise old owl who lived in a tall tree, a mischievous squirrel who loved to play pranks on his friends, a kind-hearted deer who always helped those in need, and a shy rabbit who loved to paint but was too scared to show anyone his artwork. One day, a strange mist descended upon the forest, causing all the animals to become lost and separated from each other. The owl, being the wisest of them all, realized that they needed to work together in order to find their way back home. And so, the animals set out on a grand adventure to find their way back to each other and back to their home in the magical forest. As they journeyed through the mist, they faced many challenges and obstacles. The mischievous squirrel kept playing pranks on the others, causing them to get even more lost. The kind-hearted deer helped those who were struggling, but sometimes got left behind as a result. And the shy rabbit struggled to keep up with the others, but found solace in painting the beautiful landscapes they passed along the way. But no matter what challenges they faced, the animals always remembered to work together and help each other out. And as they journeyed through the mist, they began to realize that the true magic of their home in the forest wasn't just in its beauty, but in the friendships they had formed along the way. As the animals continued on their journey through the mist, they stumbled upon a clearing in the forest. In the center of the clearing stood a grand tree, larger than any of the animals had ever seen before. Its trunk was wide enough to fit all of them around it, and its branches stretched up towards the sky like reaching fingers. As they approached the tree, they heard a soft humming sound coming from its branches. It was a tune that none of them had ever heard before, but it was soothing and peaceful, and it seemed to fill their hearts with warmth. Curious, the animals decided to investigate the source of the sound. They climbed up onto the lowest branches of the tree and followed the humming, moving deeper and deeper into its canopy. The higher they climbed, the more they felt like they were entering a new world, full of wonder and magic. Eventually, they reached the top of the tree, and there they found a small bird with the most beautiful singing voice they had ever heard. It was the bird who had been humming the tune, and as they listened to it, they felt a sense of calm and joy wash over them. The animals decided to stay in the tree for a while, listening to the bird's song and enjoying the beauty of the forest from high above. And as they rested there, they knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they had each other and the magic of the forest to guide them on their journey. As the animals rested in the grand tree, they began to notice that the mist was starting to lift. They could see glimpses of the forest below them, and the sun was beginning to shine through the branches. Excited to continue their journey, the animals thanked the bird for its beautiful song and made their way down the tree. They were eager to explore the forest again and find their way back to their home. As they wandered through the forest, they came across a sparkling river that was rushing by. They decided to follow the river and see where it would lead them. Along the way, they saw colorful fish swimming in the water, and dragonflies flitting about in the air. Eventually, the river led them to a beautiful meadow, filled with wildflowers of every color. The animals couldn't resist running and playing in the meadow, enjoying the warmth of the sun on their fur and feathers. As they played, they heard a soft whisper in the wind. It was as if the forest itself was speaking to them, telling them that they were on the right path, and that they would soon find their way back home. Feeling hopeful and rejuvenated, the animals continued on their journey through the forest, eager to see what other wonders lay ahead. They knew that no matter what challenges they faced, they had each other, the magic of the forest, and the whispers of nature to guide them. As the animals journeyed deeper into the forest, they stumbled upon a small cottage nestled among the trees. It was made of wood and moss, with a thatched roof and a welcoming glow coming from the windows. Curious, the animals approached the cottage and peered inside. There, they saw an old woman sitting by the fire, stirring a pot of soup. She looked up and smiled at the animals, beckoning them to come inside. Feeling welcomed, the animals entered the cottage and gathered around the fire. The old woman introduced herself as a wise forest spirit who had lived in the forest for centuries. She listened to the animals' stories and adventures, and offered them advice and guidance for their journey ahead. She also shared stories of the forest's history, and the magic and wonder that had existed in the forest long before the animals were born. The animals listened intently, feeling a deep respect and admiration for the forest and all of its secrets. As the night grew late, the old woman bid the animals farewell and gave them each a small token to guide them on their journey. The owl received a feather for wisdom, the squirrel a nut for mischief, the deer a leaf for kindness, and the rabbit a paintbrush for creativity. Feeling grateful for the old woman's wisdom and guidance, the animals continued on their journey, carrying their tokens with them. They knew that they had much to learn from the forest and its inhabitants, and that with each passing day, they would grow stronger and wiser. As the animals journeyed deeper into the forest, they came across a clearing filled with tall, swaying grass. The grass was so tall that they could barely see over it, but they could hear the sounds of something moving around inside. Curious, they approached the grass and carefully made their way inside. As they pushed their way through the grass, they saw that it was filled with all sorts of creatures they had never seen before. There were insects with iridescent wings, tiny frogs that hopped from blade to blade, and even a family of hedgehogs curled up in a cozy little nest. As the animals explored the clearing, they noticed that the grass seemed to be getting taller and thicker the farther they went. It was almost as if the grass was alive, and growing in response to their presence. Suddenly, they heard a loud rustling sound coming from the center of the clearing. They cautiously made their way towards the source of the sound, and found themselves face to face with a giant creature, towering over them like a tree. The creature was covered in shaggy fur and had two large, glowing eyes that shone like stars. It looked down at the animals with a curious expression, and let out a deep, rumbling growl. Feeling intimidated but not wanting to show fear, the animals introduced themselves to the creature and explained that they were on a journey through the forest. To their surprise, the creature responded in a gentle voice, and offered to guide them through the rest of the clearing. Feeling grateful for the creature's kindness, the animals followed it through the tall grass, marveling at the beauty of the forest around them. They knew that with each new encounter, they were learning more about themselves and the world around them, and they felt more and more ready to face whatever lay ahead. The creature led the animals through the rest of the clearing, showing them all sorts of hidden wonders that they would have never found on their own. They saw a sparkling stream that wound its way through the grass, a bed of fragrant wildflowers, and even a hidden cave filled with glowing crystals. As they explored the clearing, the animals began to realize that the forest was far more vast and mysterious than they had ever imagined. There were so many secrets hidden within its depths, and they knew that they had only scratched the surface. Eventually, the creature led them to the edge of the clearing, where they could see the forest stretching out before them in all directions. It turned to the animals and bid them farewell, giving each of them a small trinket to remember their encounter. The animals watched as the creature disappeared back into the forest, and then turned to continue their journey. They knew that they had been changed by their encounter, and that they would never forget the lessons they had learned in the clearing. As they walked deeper into the forest, they felt a sense of anticipation growing within them. They knew that there were more adventures to be had, more mysteries to uncover, and more magic to experience. And they were ready for whatever lay ahead. As the animals journeyed through the forest, they encountered many more challenges and wonders. They faced fearsome predators, navigated treacherous terrain, and even discovered hidden treasures that had been lost for centuries. Through it all, they remained steadfast and courageous, always leaning on each other for support and guidance. They grew stronger, wiser, and more compassionate with each passing day, and their bond grew stronger with every challenge they faced together. Finally, after many long weeks of wandering through the forest, the animals emerged into a bright, open meadow. In the distance, they could see a small village, with smoke rising from chimneys and the sounds of laughter and music drifting towards them on the breeze. With renewed energy and excitement, the animals bounded towards the village, eager to see what adventures awaited them there. They knew that their journey was far from over, but they also knew that they were ready for whatever lay ahead. As they entered the village, they were greeted with warmth and kindness by the local villagers. They shared stories of their journey through the forest, and listened with fascination as the villagers regaled them with tales of their own. In the end, the animals realized that their journey had been more than just a physical one. It had been a journey of self-discovery, of growth, and of finding their place in the world. And as they looked out over the village, they knew that they had found that place, and that they would always be grateful for the lessons they had learned along the way.